The Brazil national team looks incredibly strong again and is definitely one of the main favorites to win the World Cup. In this video, we'll show exactly why Neymar, Vinicius and company will be the World Cup winners and make the whole country happy for the 6th time in their history. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and let's get started. Perhaps the main point in favor of Brazil's victory at the World Cup is the squad depth. There are several extra-class players there who perform at the highest level in the best clubs on the planet in almost every position, especially in the attack, so let's get into more detail. Most often, the Pentacampeão coach, Tite, uses the 4-2-3-1 formation, so we'll predict the team's World Cup squad based on it. Everything is very simple with goalkeepers. The Brazilians have Alisson Becker from Liverpool as their number 1, and Ederson from Man City is his reliable backup. As a reserve, Tite trusts veteran Beverton from Palmeiras. These three will go to Qatar. The right defender position can probably be considered the most problematic in the Brazil national team, although it depends on how you look at it. The main one here is still the always young Dani Alves. The 39-year-old defender currently plays for the Mexican Pumas and dreams of playing at his last World Cup. By the way, despite his age, the Iron Alves constantly plays for 90 minutes. He performs as a central midfielder for his club and has provided 4 assists in 12 matches this season. His alternative and competitor is Danilo from Juventus. As a third option, Tite is considering Tottenham's Emerson. In the center of defense, Marquinhos from PSG and Thiago Silva from Chelsea are undoubtedly the main pair of defenders. Real Madrid representative Eder Militao imposes tough competition on them. Also, Juventus newcomer Bremer will definitely be in the coach's roster. As a reserve pair, we prefer Roger Ibanez from Roma and Gabriel Magalhães from Arsenal. On the left, Sevilla's Alexis Telles is currently the favorite for the main defender position. Juve's Alex Sandro and Nottingham Forest's Renan Lodi are in contention for the number 2 spot. Although a trip to Qatar for Guilherme Arena from Atlético Mineiro cannot be disregarded. Tite called up this guy to the national team several times as well. In the defensive midfield area, the Pentacampeão coach plays with 1 destroyer and 1 player in the number 8 role. Despite the lack of regular game practice recently, it seems that Manchester United representatives Fred and Casemiro will start the World Cup. Moreover, during the time left, they can win back their spot in the club. The most likely alternatives to Fred will be Lucas Paqueta from West Ham and Bruno Guimaraes from Newcastle. Casemiro's competitor will be Fabinho from Liverpool. These two will be enough in the defensive midfield position, but if we had to choose a third one, then it would be the young Danilo from Palmeiras, who had already been called up to the national team this year. Let's move on to the central attacking midfielder position, or the second forward if you will. The undisputed number 1 here is PSG star Neymar. A huge number of players can back him up, but we'll tentatively give these positions to Roberto Firmino from Liverpool, who has been showing great form lately, and Everton Ribeiro from Flamengo, who even at the age of 33 is often called up to the national team. On the left in the attack, Real Madrid's Vinicius Jr. will be the main winger, and his alternatives will probably be his teammate Rodrigo and Arsenal representative Gabriel Martinelli, who has reached a new level this season. On the opposite wing, Tite trusts Barcelona newcomer Rafinha more than anyone else, but he also has a strong competitor, Antony from Manchester United. Tentatively, we'll give the 3rd spot to Aston Villa midfielder Philippe Coutinho, who, although he's not in the best shape right now, is appreciated by the manager. Why conditionally? Because if Philippe does go to the World Cup, he'll play either on the left or in the center behind the forward, and one of the other attacking players will move to the right wing. And finally, the center forward. Tite's main player in this position is Tottenham's Richarlison. Despite not being called up for the last squad, Arsenal's Gabi Jesus simply must go to the World Cup and may have a chance to supplant Richarlison. The alternative to these two is Mateus Cunha from Atletico. Of course, if necessary, Firmino, Neymar and Rodrigo, whom we've already appointed to other positions, are able to play in the attack. It's in the attack that Tite's choice of players is the most diverse. From this lineup alike if you think it's in the top 3 we'll see at the World Cup. So all that's left is to demonstrate your strength on the pitch. A special factor in the potential success of the Brazil national team at the World Cup is Neymar. He has always been a defining player, but looking at his form this season, it seems that nothing is impossible for the footballer. Many wrote Ney off before this season. He received a lot of criticism in recent seasons, and for a good reason. But now he's a completely different football player. Just look at his stats. 11 goals and 9 assists in 15 matches this season for PSG. And for the national team, last month he scored a goal and provided 2 assists in 2 matches. It seems that the Brazilian is serious about the World Cup and finally winning the Ballon d'Or, which has been predicted for him throughout his career. Last summer, information appeared in the media that Neymar was considering the possibility of retiring from the national team, so this adds to his motivation. He wants to finish his story with the national team in a beautiful way. For the 5-time champions, this form of Neymar is a great boost to an already powerful team. So, we'll watch the exploits of the PSG superstar in Qatar with special interest. I want to finish 2022 with the World Cup title. I'm preparing myself both physically and mentally so that everyone goes well. And we have a Brazilian World Cup this time. I'll give my life for it, Neymar said. The Brazil national team is perfectly balanced team, which is twice as valuable when it comes to national teams. There are also ageless veterans such as Dani Alves and Thiago Silva. Also experienced players at their peak, such as Neymar, Casemiro or Alisson are there. The team also has young and hungry for big victories Vinicius, Richarlison, Jesus, Rodrigo and Anthony. Now, the partners can take on part of the responsibility and not force Neymar to carry everything by himself. This would save the team from dependence on one player and make life easier for Neymar. It's also worth noting the factor of Coach Tite. The 61-year-old specialist has been at the helm of the Seleção since 2016 and has been able to build a strong and cohesive team. The Brazilians have qualified for the World Cup without defeat, scoring 40 goals and conceding only 5 in 17 matches. We reached the World Cup. Now it's time to reach the final and be champions. This is the truth, Tite stated. Well, the statement is very ambitious, but it can't be otherwise for Brazil. The last time Seleção won the tournament was in 2002, when Ronaldo's legendary team beat Germany in the final. And now, it's time to win the 6th World Cup for the country. Guys, tell us, what do you think Brazil are the World Cup favorites and predict the result for Neymar and company in the upcoming tournament in Qatar? In the comments below, we really want to know your thoughts on this. And that's all for this episode. This is the Mamacito channel. Take care, and we'll see you very soon.